only you are going to know what feels like there's a spark of interest. And the good news is this is not like you're not signing up for university. This is not a commitment for 4 years. This is just an idea to try. If you don't like it, discard it and try another one.
Welcome to the Lara Jane Layton Show. This podcast is for you, the person who keeps putting others first. Your self-talk has held you back. You no longer need to take a second seat. Let's explore ways to overcome self-doubt. You can silence that inner bully voice and achieve your full potential. Here's your host, Lara Jane. Welcome to the show, friend. My new best friend, Allie, is with us here today. And we are going to talk about that empty nest. Now, I know we still have kids at home and we're still working on them, but I bet your brain is starting to think about, what am I going to do when they're gone? How am I going to adjust? There's so much. And there's probably that other part of your brain that's going, woohoo, I'm so excited. I will have so much time to myself. Well, what we're going to do is talk about how we tune in to that person who's now childless, not childless, empty nesters. They're still in your life. They're still with you. But now they're not everything we think about every moment of the day. And that's a whole new thought process. So how do we deal with that? And how do we move forward? And how do we remember who we really are? Because we weren't born with kids. We do have a soul and a purpose. So that's what we're going to talk about. But before we get started, we're going to get a quick word from our sponsor. Come back and Allie's going to help us remember who we really are. So we'll be right back. Hey, since I rarely have openings in my coaching schedule, I have a new resource out there on my website. It is called the BFF Coaching Network. And I have offered a spot there for any coach that has been on the show to list their coaching. You can go out there, you can listen to their episodes, you can feel a little bit about them, and then choose a coach that will work for you. So LaraJaneLayton.com, the BFF Coaching Network. All right, Allie, the information about you is in the show notes. And I am so excited to have you as my new best friend today. Help me really tune into that me. That, I haven't always had kids. I had a life before, but they take up, if you have multiple kids, that's 20 years plus however much they're spread apart, where you're directly responsible for them. And to let go, whew, that's so scary. How do I do it? Well, first of all, I'm going to just give you a giant permission slip of grace because every single person does this differently. There's no one set way, but I'd say the first thing is bravo, mama. You've had your family, you've been going along for, like you said, a couple of decades probably. And now is the time to start turning inward. And we're not so practiced at this. I want to acknowledge that your focus and your desire to be all things to your family has been an important one. But if you can take that and the same focus and determination and love that you poured into your family, we can redirect it back to ourselves just a smidge at first and think about who were we before we had these wonderful kids in this family. What I do, I often take my clients through an exercise of saying, pretend you had amnesia and you woke up and you're like, I don't even remember what I like. Okay. Is it coffee or is it tea? Am I a bath person or am I a shower person? It sounds so simple. And, you're probably like, oh, why would this help? Because you're trying to remember who you were or more even importantly, who you are now. Because a lot of us made decisions based on efficiency and whatever was easiest for the family. Who took leisurely baths? I took the fastest showers known to mankind. I've always been a tea person, so that isn't going to change. But in the last 6 months, I have tried matcha. So it's looking back and remembering who you were and maybe some of those things that you want to bring forward
but also opening to all the things of who you want to be, do, and what you want to create forward.
Listening to you talk about that is like, okay, go back in life when I was first time adult. I mean, what is that? Officially 18 or is that officially 21? I don't know. But when you're in that stage and it's the before kids, before all the pressure, before all that learning we got to do, who was I? Do I care? I was fun and go lucky and didn't have a care in the world. And I don't do that same process today. Would I, even if I had no other responsibilities? Is that part. And it's that self reflection of, hmm, would I do that? And allow yourself to choose your answer because this is you. You can be the old you or you can make a new you.
Right. And I think the new you, I want to be clear, is not a blowing up of the old. We are picking and choosing what we want to bring forward. We talked about a minute ago, we're remembering, but it's really intentional because, when you start from a blank canvas, or for me as a writer of a book, the blank page, that's a little intimidating. I want to throw some things on there first. I want to know what I know that I love. So if I am not an artist, but the only thing I can draw is hearts. A heart is going on that canvas. So think about those things. Maybe you know that you do want to be fun. You were fun before. You got a little less fun when you were, dare I say it, bogged down with the kids. You were you
Or we weren't bogged down, we were juggling the kids and work
juggling.
and life.
It's juggling all the things. And now you're about to have a new opportunity to what balls do you want to catch? And how do you want to prioritize them? So I feel like I've mixed 7 metaphors in there, but if you can just take a couple of things, like we said, maybe the coffee, maybe the pickleball. Are you that kind of woman? Are you a person who likes to, visit with your friends? It's a time of reflection. So this is the time to get your notes app in your phone or your journal out and start making lists of who am I now?
And it's kind of scary when you start talking about it. It's like, I don't know who I want to be. The things that we would say, what are we going to do when we're kidless, and like certain things we're going to, okay, I'm sure everybody says this. It's not just me, right? Run around the house naked.
I do, but then did we do it? I don't know.
No, we have never done it, even though we said that's what we were going to do. So, what is that thing? And pick it, even if it's far fetched as running around the house naked. Is that freeing to you? It might sound freeing because nobody's looking, but would you really do it? It's okay. I still run around the house emotionally naked.
Right.
My feelings are there to bear, and I'm not always trying to catch myself and how am I wording this for my kids? So that way I'm running around the house naked.
I love it. I love that. And I will tell you, I hear that all the time. I can't wait. My husband can't wait for us to be able to run around the house naked. I've never actually heard a woman say that they want to do that, but why not? I think as you're running around naked, grab a shirt and think of the shirt as an idea, as an opportunity. And do I want to be a gardener now? Do I want to be a mahjong player? Do I want to be a world traveler? And, discard what doesn't fit, discard, the things that are too tight or feeling, they're cumbersome. But the ones that feel freeing and feel like you, or look at us, Laura Jane, we're in our blue, that you light up when you're wearing the right shirt. Those are the ideas to start following.
What is it? Is it a color? Maybe I paint my house. Maybe it's like, oh, I'm so tired of this taupe. Okay, whatever color your walls are, white. Or I think a lot of us are very simple because we add the decorations to our home. But I have a friend that's very bold in the colors on their wall. And I walk into the house and I feel fun, you know?
do I want to do that in my own house? Do I want to be fun? What is it that can remind me of who I am?
And I think you've touched on something there. It's the feeling. Sometimes when we're talking about these big grandiose ideas, it's too big. It's too hard to think about who I want to be next. But what if I just thought about the feelings that I want to lean into? I know that for me, a lot of that was freedom and empowerment. And for many women, it could be fun and joyful and spontaneous. And once you figure out those feelings, then you can identify the different activities and things that will help you feel those feelings.
And activities like when you were talking about pickleball, immediately it's like, I have this thing. There's certain parts of me that because it's popular, I don't like it.
Contrarian.
It's like, I am never playing pickleball because everybody says it's the best thing ever. And that's just my weird personality. But I have siblings that play pickleball and love it. And it's what is you? My son used to say, "Do you, mom, do you?" It's like, I don't know what that means. I don't know who I am. But as we uncover who we are, every day we get a little bit more glimpse of doing you.
Absolutely. I think that this is the time to be open to the possibilities. And it's not, don't do all the heavy lifting yourself. Let the universe do some of the lifting. And what I mean by that is, I believe in signs and synchronicities. And I can give you an example that I had a client named Julie, and Julie wanted to do something when the kids left, but she didn't know what it was. Now, she was drawn to color. She knew that. She knew that she kept receiving these different brochures and postcards in the mail for art exhibits. And she didn't know why. Normally, everything like that just goes in the trash, but they were so visually beautiful. She started putting them on her desk and she was saving them. And then maybe a week later, she was having a coffee with a friend. I believe it was at Starbucks or something. And she looked and she saw it was she could have a watercolor class. And she thought, what in the world? She took the number. And she said she made a deal with herself that maybe she would go, but she'd only stay for 10 minutes. And if she hated it, she could leave. Well, she stayed the full 8 weeks in that class. And Julie is now a person who watercolors. So that's it. The universe is giving us signs. It's sending us messages of things to be open to, but we won't see it if our eyes aren't open.
And there are a lot of fun things that I love to do. I love to craft. I love to paint. Where do you put it all when you're done? The reason I don't feel free to create is what is it after it's gorgeous? I have this beautiful, gorgeous whatever. What do I do with it? You can't keep redecorating your house. So that's where it's like, as much as I love it, I don't do it because I don't know what to do with it.
Right.
And it's just more garbage.
And maybe you have to think of it as you're enjoying the process rather than the latest craft. But my daughter is such a good example of that. She's got the arts and crafts where she was going to be an oil painter, and then something about where you did yarn, but you hand. I don't even know what it is. You made scarves, but just from your hands like this. That was a thing. And then there was the stitching. I do think that there is a Tupperware box for each craft, and I think that's okay, and then you can just let him go. But it's the feeling that you're getting while you're crafting. Are you feeling creative? Is it filling you up? Are you doing it with friends? Is there a connection involved? I think the finished product is less important than the process.
Oh, and that's exactly was my point, as without saying it, is when we do it because the process is important to us,
Exactly.
that's when it brings us joy.
Yeah.
I give a lot of stuff away. I have a friend who is the most disciplined dietary workout person in my life. Just It's just what they do. But their way of coping and dealing with all the changes in life, she loves to bake. And she loves to bake cookies. But she has a discipline to not eat them. She's amazing. So these huge boxes of cookies come to the office, and the huge boxes of cookies go to her friends because this is the thing that creating. And not only is she creating and loving the journey, now she's loving sharing it with her friends. And so you're not just doing one thing, you're doing it for multiple. How much cooler is it that you're doing it for you first?
Absolutely. And how uncomfortable maybe to begin with, because we're so used to having done for others, certainly our kids and our family. So when it feels maybe frivolous, good. Do more of that, especially if it's creating joy for yourself.
And just sometimes I just keep the pictures of them and look at all these things that I've created. I have a private Pinterest board of all the things that I created. This is something I did. And it's like I can go back and remember. I have all my hairstyles on there too, because I have been through them all, every length, every color, everything. But that's a place that I remember it. Now, yeah, I could put it in a hard drive. I could put it in lots of different places, but for some reason, Pinterest is where it went.
Pinterest is perfect. I think Pinterest is a perfect file cabinet in a way. It definitely works.
Yeah. So, what is it? If you don't want to put it on your wall when you're done, you can still take a picture of it. You can still remember the process. One year, I probably made 30 wreaths at Christmas time and gave them all away. Another year, I did miniature gardens and just gave them to work to sell at their United Way campaign. So it's just like, what do you do with it? Can you add more value? And what we're started talking about is finding you. And of course, Laura Jane got on a subject of crafting because she loves it so much, but that might not be you. So
Yeah.
how do we tune in? How does each individual figure out what is it that I like?
Go back to those questions. These are the questions that we have to ask ourselves. What did you like before kids? See if any of those ideas, the shirt idea, if they fit now. If not, we're great list makers, if nothing else, right? Make a list of things. You can Google, if you use ChatGPT, give me a list of 50 things that I could possibly be doing. I can tell you my friends, myself, my clients, the list is long. We've got pickleball, we've got mahjong, we've got crafting, we've got traveling the world, we've got baking. I mean, the list is endless, but only you are going to know what feels like there's a spark of interest. And the good news is this is not like you're not signing up for university. This is not a commitment for 4 years. This is just an idea to try. If you don't like it, discard it and try another one.
Yeah, we're just shoe shopping, right? Try it on, get a feel for it. Maybe the other person just walked out with a pair because it's perfect for them. And you're going, how the heck do you like these? They hurt my feet. We are all different. We have different things that work for us. And when we give ourselves that freedom to like what you like and not worry what other people like, that's when you can really tune into who you are is, take that checklist. Let ChatGPT give you a list of 50 things. It's a little overwhelming for me. But you can immediately cross off probably 10 of them, not even interested. And then others you go, I might could try that. But allow yourself to be surprised too.
Yeah, I think that is so key, Lara Jane, is the opening and the allowing, because we have been so tied to a routine and knowing everything in our checklist. This is an opening. We don't know what's coming next. And that can feel for the moment, that uncertainty can feel scary, but you could also put a little breath with it and it could feel exciting. I feel like I'm just going to keep iterating open to what could be.
What could be? And that just is so massive, you know? Yeah, but you don't have to think of them all right now. Let them trickle in. Give them a try. If they like it, hold on tight. If you don't like it, let it go.
Yeah, I mean, some people do well with the expanse. Most people do better when it's much smaller and a little bit thing. So take your list from ChatGPT or the one that you created, make it 3 things. Make it just 3 little things, but have it rooted in something that you've wanted I always say be, try, or do, or create. So I have so many things on my list. I always wanted to make friends with the ocean. I had a funny relationship. I loved to look at it, but I didn't want to. I was scared I was going to drown, but I really wanted to make friends with it. So my deep, deep desire was to figure out a way to be able to be in the ocean and do all the things that everybody was doing, paddleboarding, snorkeling, surfing, hydrofoiling. And once I did one and became more confident, it built on the other one. So for sure, I started with the noodle and the life preserver and the instructor wading in step by step. And I am not exaggerating. Like literally, this was me a number of years ago. But slowly, as I got more confident and had more fun and more great moments, I could lose the life preserver. I could put the noodle over there. I didn't have to be gripping so tightly on the instructor. And the more I experienced these things and gained confidence, the more my world in the ocean opened up to new experiences.
I would love to learn to be friends with the ocean. I am so terrified of water that I just stay on where I can touch ground and not be wet at the same time. But
I
what a great freeing thing if I could free that fear. I think all the things I could add to what I enjoy doing.
Yeah, that's what it was. And really, for me, that we bought a place in Maui. So I was right there. So I had a lot of practice time. I had a huge incentive to make friends, but it was years in the making, this process. Baby steps, baby steps.
And even if you need to sit down and rest, it's
Yeah.
okay.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. There were setbacks. Let me tell you, everything didn't go perfectly. I mean, had a paddleboard session where we got blown away in the wind, and instead of going this way, I got blown a mile or 2 back that way, and that was really scary, and it
oh
almost
my gosh, that would freak me out.
and it did, and then, but I learned a lot from it, and it was actually after I got over the terrifying part and all the other emotions, I learned a lot, like, "Oh, I don't have to get back to point A if it's an emergency, I can go into the beach anytime." These are the things that you're gonna learn when you put yourself in a position to try something new.
So this is our opportunity, in that transition as one kid goes off to college. You may not be freeing up 30 minutes of making dinner time because you're still going to make it for your other kids, but you are freeing up, oh, I don't have that person's picky eating in the repertoire of what I'm cooking tonight. And it's not that picky eating's bad. It's okay to like what you like. But as a parent that's trying to feed 5 different picky people, it can get frustrating, and you go, "Okay." You just think it's one less. And when the next one walks out, it's one less, and pretty soon it's just gonna be maybe the 2 of you or maybe the 1 of you, and what is it? God, what would you eat every day if you didn't have to feed anybody else? What idea. Would I go out to eat all the time? Would I just have I think I had a mother and I didn't think. I know my mother-in-law's go-to when she was too old to really do any cooking was cheese and crackers. That's what she had for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, cheese and crackers.
It worked. It's simple. Got a couple of food groups there.
That you could put a piece of lettuce on it.
I'll
What
put
is
sweet
it?
potato in.
What is your go-to? Who are you? What would you eat? These are the things we get to explore now and feed your family it. You know, is it something that I've been putting off, but maybe they would like it too?
Right? It's a whole new world. And you reminded me of also finding out whether you are a morning person or a night person, because we didn't really have a choice for a lot of the time. We had to be up in the morning and go, go, go. And you're still going to need to probably get up to a certain, at a certain time, but to really find out, do you want to stay up later, but you couldn't before because you knew you had to get up? Or are you going to be one of those 5 a.m. people? Because that's the new you. Not me, but maybe it might be you.
When my husband and I got married, I was a morning person and he was definitely a night person. And what was that transition over the years that turned me into a night person? Now, if he wasn't around, would I naturally go back to being a morning person or would I stay a night person? I don't know. And I don't have to think about it now, but it is going to be something that will be interesting in that stage of my life if I am alone again. It's like, am I a night person or a morning person?
You
I
will
don't know.
try, right? You explore and experiment. Yeah. All the little things add up to who you are now. And you don't have to make this really big, scary reinvention. It's not that at all. It's little baby steps of remembering, recreating, and rediscovering. There's so many great R words. It's just who you are now. You get to be really intentional about who this person is and who you want to be. I love kind of putting that aspirational part on it because that makes me do things like I want to be a person who works out. I want to be a person who feels fit and healthy. And those are very intentional choices. And so, and then I create my day, my week, and my month with those things in mind.
And I love it. And, one of the things that we're talking about is that time when we become empty nesters. But you actually have this choice right now.
You do.
You do not have to wait for the kids to move out. You can start tuning in right now to who you are and figuring that out and learning that comfort and that I'm confident when I do this. Put it in the memory. And what are those things that make you feel alive? Because that life feeling is you
Yes.
saying,
Yes.
this works.
Mhm. That life feeling is you. Like, say it for the people in the back. That's it. Like, this is you. It's not her. It's you. Yeah.
And that's when you find yourself, is when you just start feeling like you are okay with you. And I know that we all have been trained to always second guess ourselves. Am I being nice? Am I going to be liked? If I'm not liked, I get kicked out. If I get kicked out, I die. It's that survival instinct of us, of people pleasing and doing for everybody else. But if you don't do for you, then you don't have the strength to always do for other people. And don't selfishly just do for you so you can do for other people. It's not a selfish thing. It's just what you need. Is your car being selfish when I stop once a week to fill it up with gas? What if I stopped every day and just put 10 cents in, 10 cents in? And I would be free or afraid I would run out of gas on the way home. I only put 10 cents in. Is it going to be enough to get me home? That's take the time to fill up. What is it that you're missing? What is it that is important to you? Find a way to fill that up now.
Yes. Well, I mean, the air mask thing has been way overused. It is a cliche for a reason. If we don't help ourselves first, we can't help others. But the way I like to think about it is when we do for ourselves. And that can be either exquisite self-care or trying new things. Not only are we doing for ourselves, we are role modeling for our children. And I think that's giving them a big permission slip to say, wow, look at mom over there. She is whatever you are doing to take care of yourself and fill yourself up. And then maybe they think to themselves, maybe I actually will go to bed tonight and not scroll on my phone. Maybe I will take that um, class that nobody else is interested in, but it kind of sparks something in me. You are giving them an unwritten permission slip to do for themselves, and you're doing for yourself. It's a win-win.
I think that's the best example that we can give anybody is the example of how
Yeah.
to take care of you. When you are who you are, you're such more valuable. And you don't even have to change. You just have to love who you are right now. You can change if you want, but love who you are and the progress and the change, the setbacks. Like, oh, have you ever had that mind full of chatter? And, why not just deep breathe? And what is it that I can find that I can like about this chatter? Try to find the good in everything that's going on around you. One good thing makes your life not worthless. Find that one good thing.
Yeah, I think you bring up such a good point because even if we're in a season where things are really hard, aging parents, problems with the children, something with the spouse, hard at work, if we can, the chatter's going to be there. That is going to happen. But we have the choice to hone in and find the gratitude in one thing. And there is always something to be grateful for. And listen, if you're doing your gratitude journal at night and all you can say is that this day is over and I survived it, then that's okay too. But I think if you put your attention intentionally to this didn't go as I expected, but my parent is still alive. My child is progressing to the next grade. There's always a silver lining if we can choose to find it.
And I love that choice. I love having choice. So choosing what life you want is what this whole thing has been about. And they say fake it till you make it. Guess what? You just have to unveil it until you are completely who you are. Because we're hidden. We hide. I have so many layers shoved over more pain, and the pain's just hiding. And all of a sudden, a layer comes off and the pain blows up. And I thought I had dealt with it, but all I had done was hidden it. And each layer is going to give you that opportunity to fill the crap again. Because we now have the ability, we've shed enough to deal with more. And that's a good thing. And I know it can feel so awful when you're going through it. You have a blow up and you go, where in the crap that come from? And then you figure it all out and you go, oh, that's one more thing I released. I can do this.
Yeah, absolutely. And it never stops. It never, I always think I've peeled the onion. I always think I must be at the core by now. And then life. But if you can look at it as an opportunity, as okay, there's going to be a lesson in the mess, you're going to expand more. And when you have a little bit of time between you and the situation and you can reflect back, but you're going to be proud of yourself that you actually dealt with that. You didn't sweep yet another thing under the rug.
I have a blog out there called Tiny Little Messes. And it was after a holiday when family had been here and I was cleaning up the house. And all these tiny little things were out of place, all these little tiny things. And I could be pissy at it. Like, oh man, can't anybody put anything away? Why is it so hard? But it's, what was the good? Oh, I have grandkid handprints over here. how much more fun was it that I got to experience that person for a few days in my home, not just over the phone, not just remotely, but what are those things that are the happy pieces that we can get when we're cleaning up those tiny little pieces? And that's for all of our life.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and wind up. And I'm going to let you, Allie, kind of summarize everything we've done. What's that focus that we're really going to work on? And how do we get a hold of you? What if we say, hey, Allie, I need somebody to help me with this? How do we get a hold of you?
Smoke signals. No, just kidding. No, you can find me on the web or on Instagram, Allie Hill Coaching. And I would love to hear from you. I think today we talked about so many things, but most of all, we talked about the opportunity to choose who we want to be now based on all these different things that we know that we can do. We can make lists, we can check in with ourselves, we can dream, we can scheme. The choices are limitless. All we have to do is choose one thing, try it, take a baby step towards it, and see if it fits and if it's how we want to feel. That's what I would say for today.
I try the shoe on. If it fits, buy it. If it doesn't, you can come again and try again. So I love it. Thank you so much for joining us today. It has been fun. And I really like this concept because we do end up being empty nesters. And how do we going to keep moving and living our best lives, even when we're all alone? So thank you for sharing your wisdom with us. Friend Allie and I are not medical or mental licensed professionals. We're here for entertainment. People have experienced some bumps along our paths and want to be here to help you be prepared for the bumps along your path. So thank you for joining and stay tuned for the next episode.
Are you tired of waking up exhausted? You are not alone. If you're looking to take your life back, let's start with the simple step of adjusting your self-talk. Stay tuned for the next episode with your host, Lara Jane. Remember to follow the show so you don't miss the next simple step that you can use to feel more confident. And please leave an honest review.